Hey YouTube, quite a late night one for me just now. What is it? So this will probably be on about midnight, so you might have to watch this tomorrow. Here is my Aria Pro 2 pb1500. I know it's a pb1500 because it's got a sticker on the neck here saying it. And I said an Aria Pro, it's not an Aria Pro, it's the Aria Pro. This is quite a rare bass. I've had this a couple of years, but I'm kind of, one of my pals was suggesting I should cycle through some of my older videos back before I had a decent webcam and before a decent sound. I used to always have terrible problem with the sound, but hopefully this time, because I bought one of those snowball mics, like about 6 months, a year ago probably actually, so that I can now do bass videos, hopefully. Although you will always hear a bit of string slapping because I'm not playing at proper volumes, you know what I mean, I'm just playing in the house volume. Yeah, so this never really worked out exactly how the serial numbers on this one worked. It's not that obvious. 11, but I can't even read it now. 118025. I think it's from about 1980, 1981. I'm not sure. This is a Matsumoku built one because it actually says so on the headstock. If you look at the writing, quite a lot of areas I've got writing up on the head there. No, you can't read it there. This bit here, there's writing in here. And generally the more expensive ones have the writing, but this one's got different writing. This one actually says, this is actually why I bought it. Designed and approved by H.noble, who's the guy who at present, he's still making guitars, still designing stuff at Lancia Guitars. If you look him up on Facebook, he's still making these mad metal things with movable frets, and like he's one of those, he's like a mad inventor. Original custom body, part number, a product of Matsumoku. Yeah, so this is quite a high spec guitar, or bass. So you can see it's through neck. It's got a curved back. It's got a curved back as well as a curved front, like as well as a curved top, which is pretty cool. You notice it's done what they did with the Japanese ones. Like it's got like wooden control covers and truss rod cover, just to make it that little bit more fancy and expensive. You know, this is like a total premium thingy. There is one famous user, a band called The Armory Show. There's a video on YouTube someone sent me. I'll maybe put a link to it down below if I remember. But if you look up The Armory Show, they're a band and they're sort of new wave, sort of, must be early 80s. They're actually pretty good. But the bass player's playing one of these, and absolutely, the bass is pure loud as hell, which is great. So we've got a full scale neck. Well, actually, let's check it. Oh no. Normally I can find my measuring tape quite easily, but I don't actually see it just now. So I'm pretty sure this is a 34-inch scale. I don't think it's really that important. I will check it and I'll add something down there. So I'm saying it's a full scale 34-inch. If it's not, there will be a disclaimer in the description and below that says no, it's not, it's actually a 32, because I was surprised by my Aria Pro 2 ZZB, which, although it's absolutely massive and I can't find a case to fit it in anywhere, it's only 32-inch scale, which is a sort of strange, sort of in the middle. Normally you would expect short scale is 30 and full scale is 34, but the Japanese kind of did 32 for a bit. Maybe it's because they're quite short people. I think that might be quite racist, but there you go. That's yeah. So where have I got to? Brass nut. Standard. This would have originally have had brass saddles. It did actually have brass saddles, which I need to try and put back on it again. But the problems with these bridges, which is actually very similar to the Epiphone 3-point bridge, it bends over the years. So the one that was on this bass was like that, and the strings it split apart and stuff. It really was it's a crap design basically. So I need to. What I did was this is off my Matsumoku Hondo bass, and I bought an Epiphone one for the Hondo bass, and this is the one off that. I need to have a look and see if I can put the brass saddles back on again. I think one of the brass saddles in mine, now that I look at it, was someone had handmade it, because one of them didn't seem to fit, and he seemed to have a very curved, you know, like a cello or something, which I don't think it's meant to be. So whatever it is, I'm going to have a wee go at it. It's got, this one actually came with an original, actually, DiMarzio pickup in it as well. I never had the original knobs. These knobs are hard to get. I'm just kind of hoping that at some point somebody starts 3D printing them. So yeah, as you can see, they're sort of recessed in. I've just put these amplifier knobs on it because I quite like them. It's kind of cool the way they recess into the body when you use these knobs. Yeah. So a 3-piece, did I mention 3-piece neck, binding, fancy. So I took this into the studio today with after the end, the Black Sabbath band I'm in, and we've now got an Aussie. He's, I kind of didn't want to say, and I might have mentioned it a couple of weeks ago when he was in. He came in for the last hour as a sort of audition, and I was like, we were all happy. Yes, he's totally fucking amazing, and kind of didn't want to be too enthusiastic in case he didn't come back. But he seems to be quite up for it. So we've got an Aussie now, and he's sounded brilliant. He's alright. The previous singer kind of sounded like Ozzy from the first album, and maybe a wee bit of Paranoids. Whereas our new Ozzy sounds like he's from Master of Reality or Volume 4. So he's a wee bit high, it's good fun. So I took this bass in to give it a shot, and it sounded really good. I kind of wasn't, it's the first time I've taken it into the studio, because I don't think it's particularly Black Sabbathy. No, I mean, I think to be honest, I'm quite lucky that Geezer Butler doesn't really have a specific bass that you know him to play. There is one that he uses in the Never Say Die Top of the Pops video, which is like an EBO with white stripes on it, which I will have to try and make at some point, but that's really the only one that really sticks out. I mean, the rest of the time he's just using, I think he uses a brown P bass, and you see him using some of those, who's it, the guy that makes Tony Iommi's guitars at JD Guitars? JD, John Birch maybe, whoever it is, sort of, that are just kind of like P basses. It's not like a pure obvious one. I do feel a wee bit sorry for Craig, who's a guitarist in the Sabbath band, because obviously he's got to use a Black SG because he's playing Tony Iommi's parts. He didn't put the extra effort in to learn how to play it left-handed though, but he put the extra effort in buying an SG because he loves his Les Pauls, and it just doesn't, it's not right for Black Sabbath. You know, it's like if you're going to be Hank Marvin, you have to have a red Strat. You can't play anything else. It's not right. You can't play a Les Paul, so he's got to play his SG. So I kind of didn't want to take this in because I know he likes his Les Pauls, and this is sort of a Les Paul. Yeah. I'm just going to keep talking and then play bass at the end of this. I've already talked for 7.5 minutes. There you go. So you can fast forward in. I'll maybe put a wee link down there. But if you're already 7.5 minutes in, you might as well just wait till the end of this. Yeah, so the PE range, I think P stands for prototype, because I've seen the guitars called the Prototype series, which are PE, which I assume is Prototype Electric. This being PB, Prototype Bass. Don't know. But the guitars, when they came out, the Aria Pro PE. This is the Aria Pro as well, which I should probably do another video for. It's been a while since I got that. I actually got that after I got this. But these, this is a 600, I think, and the original. So this was, I think this is the cheapest one in the range. It's got like a crazy neck joint and stuff. I'll do a video about that later. So the guitars were at the original ones he's did there, and I think it's about 1978, which makes me wonder if this is maybe more around about that era as well. The serial number on that doesn't make any sense either. 08 8058 11. I don't know. I like it when they start off with 79, so you know it's 1979, but they don't. Yeah. So the guitars, there was a 600, which is that one. There's an 800. Which was very similar, but it had binding. There was a 1000 and there was a 1500, and those are the really expensive ones. And the 1500 doesn't. It is. I think it is through neck, or is it through neck? It might not be. I'll maybe not talk about that. But this one's through neck. There aren't any other PBs. The only one I've ever seen is this model, and I've only ever seen. I mean, I'm on an Aria Pro Facebook page, and I think there's 3 of them or 4 of them like known to exist. Well, obviously there might be hundreds in the world, but I've only ever, there's very few anyway. And this one is poly gloss finish. None of the other ones are. All the other ones I've seen have been like a satin, you know, sort of more true oil type finish as opposed to being super shiny. So I don't know how rare these things are. It's not for sale anyway. Yeah, so I'll play, so I do 10, there you go, 10-minute mark, put that in the ad and the thing at the bottom, say I'll start playing at 10 minutes. Don't want to play too loud since it's 11 o'clock at night. Turn the volume down so I can play it loud. What I'm noticing, which is probably more down to my style, is I'm getting a wee bit of wrist pain from the fact it's got quite a sharp edge to it, but that's because I've been playing it this morning. The reason it's so late is because we're in the studio at 12. Today I couldn't get to sleep last night. I was sat up watching Rick and Morty till far too late, so when I came back I went for a wee sleep at 4 o'clock, and I've just woken up now, so now I'm awake and it's 11 o'clock at night, which has not really helped my system of sleep. I need to try and get up early tomorrow morning and try and get myself back into normal mode. I'll get guitars to build. Yeah, so what I'm still going to do this, I'm going to have a wee look at the bridge. It seems to play alright, it's just that little thing I was saying there about the strings seem to do that an awful lot, which I might angle grind the saddles down to make it a little bit flatter. Not that it's not bad, I mean I can work my way around it. Sabbath's not exactly that difficult, but it's like, it seems a wee bit like that. And the pickup as well, I don't know if you can see it, the cover on it's split, and it's like, I think what I really want to do, I had to do this with the scavenger bass as well, see, because when I'm playing like in the house quite softly like I am just now, it's fine, but see when I'm absolutely thumping it, giving it the full geezer butler, I think the pickup's not deep enough into the body, so I think I'm going to have to take the pickup out, route it down so it sits further inside the body. It seems like a bit of a design flaw. But then again, this guitar, as far as I'm aware, I don't know how many they made of it, or how long they made it for. Not very, I don't think so. They've maybe never got any back. And I think their claim of being a prototype series was about right. Not so much with the bass, it was a prototype that failed, I think. Otherwise people would buy it. But you see sod all Les Paul basses. I mean, really, the guy, Ronnie Lane, and the Small Faces has a Les Paul bass at one point in the 70s, but apart from that, I honestly don't even think I've seen one. I did do a video, my pal bought an Epiphone Gothic Black Les Paul bass, which I did a video for and sold for him. But I think the reason he bought that is because he'd never seen a Les Paul bass. I don't know why, you just don't get them. So that was my thinking when I bought this, thinking even if I didn't like it, it's still a Les Paul bass, and the through neck thing really spun it for me as well. It plays really well high up. Not that I'm ever really high up on a bass, but I noticed that before with a couple of my Schecters, you know, the Schecter basses, that really expensive basses, when you play really expensive basses high up the neck, they feel exactly the same as they do in the usual playing position. switches and all it. But this one sounds more expensive. I mean, I've been using the Scavenger for the Sabbath band because it's, I mean, I love it, it's great, but this sounds better. I think it's just sounds more expensive. And there is a point when you're playing through a big amp, I mean, I wouldn't play through that in the studio, but you know, something more like that sort of size, that you really do notice a bit more. I'm noticing that playing the guitar through, I'm taking this into the studio when I'm playing in the Cranking House band, and I'm noticing more of a difference between the sounds of guitars when you've got it cranked up, you know, as opposed to just sitting, especially with the fact I'm using pedals and stuff in here. I think that'll probably do this video. Oh, by the way, I'm playing through my wee Project Ray, which is a Stag, I think it's 60 watt bass amp. Since I reset up my my pedal board, I've now got a switch that switches between the bass amp and the guitar amp, so it's easier to plug the bass in. It's less effort. I've still got the tuner in the guitar circuit, so if I stomp on that, it puts it through the guitar amp, which isn't on, but it means I can use the tuner, which is nice. So this might be seeing some live Black Sabbath action. I'm really looking forward to getting my. I've got the Scavenger bass, which is the wing, Washburn wing shape. It's in the other gig bag outside. That's this shape. You know, it's a sort of double cut Les Paul type shape. It's an awesome guitar, and I really like it. But it's the sort of, I don't want to say budget because it's better than most guitars, but it's like, you know, bolt on neck and not as fancy. But my pal Michael in Denmark has found me a Vulture, which are super mega rare, and it's more like this, but it's that shape. You know, it's like it's through neck and it's got the brass and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to getting that. Hopefully that won't be far away. This one, that might actually, think about that might be why it's hurt my wrist, because I'm holding the bass down with this arm. But that's if you look at Aria Pro basses. The other one, the SB, this is a PB. The SB is a bit more. It's the Duran guy one, and it's worth mega bucks, and especially the original one. They still make them, but old ones from this era worth a couple of £1,000, and that's the 1000. I don't know if there is a 1500, but with Aria guitars of this range, of this era, the higher the number, the better it is. So you'll get like the SB comes in SB 600 and 800 and a blah blah blah. So the 1500 is the total best they've got. The actual original advert for this says this is for the PE 1500, which is the guitar version of this, called it the Masterpiece, and it said it was inspired by Stradivarius. It's like, yeah, way to aim high, you know what I mean? Also, I think it was it's in the Guinness World Book of Records of as being the first ever guitar that came with relict finish, because it came in antique violin burst or whatever it was called, so it was designed to look like an old violin. This one isn't. This one is shiny, and this one here, although it does look relict and antique burst, that's just through being battered about for 40 years, I think. I might do a wee video of that just now, actually. It depends what sort of mood I'm in, how late it is, if the neighbours are complaining about me making so much noise in the middle of the night. And I think I'm still not sold. It's only been like 3 days I've had it on, but nobody's bought my 5866, whatever it was, sound Stratocaster with Iron Brew Strat. I think there's a point where I go too far, and people are just a bit scared of having a guitar that's got that many switches, and it's not actually that complicated, but it's like I remember this happening before when I was doing sort of switcher casters. There is a sort of although it's cheesy and stuff, really what people want is 1 or 2 bonus sounds as opposed to what you normally get in a Strat. So like the Dave Gilmour switch or a triple bucker switch gives you an extra 3 or 4 sounds, and it's a pure yeah, but it's just a normal Strat, so you can always get back to it. Whereas that one's a bit more complicated. So I think maybe I don't think I'll be doing very many more going into the silly things. I wanted to do that just because I wanted to satisfy my artistic cravings. Would that be right? Don't know. Because it is sort of art doing these sort of things. Well, okay, you can just hang it on the wall and it looks cool, but when it does actually do what it does, is the engineering aspect and the wiring is what I'm all about. You know what I mean? I don't sell guitars that don't work unless I tell you it doesn't work, which is, I don't know. I mean, actually, I've got about 3 or 4 twisted necks that I can't use that I might actually be putting up for sale. So maybe I will be selling necks that don't work, but that'd be for one you'd hang on the wall. Yeah, so rocking bass, fantastic. If you find one, it's worth it, and these are not expensive if you find one, because nobody knows what they are. Compared to the SB1000, which is, I do want one if they weren't so expensive. The thing I really like about the SB is it's the neck on it is the same width at the nut as it is at on the last fret. So it's like a sort of, the strings are completely parallel, which I really like the idea of. As I said, you don't pick up SBs cheap. And actually, my pal Wayne has a current Aria catalogue, and I said that these guitars were called the Prototype series. Oop. They still pretty much make this one, like 40 years later. It's still, you still get Aria PEs. So they stuck to it. The PB that failed. They never did anything else against that. Oh, one more thing just before I go. The other thing this one has, as opposed to the other ones I've seen, this has a veneer on the headstock. I don't know if I can hold it still enough for you to see. See, it's like a cool piece of wood. All the other pb1500s I've seen, like all 3 of them or whatever it is, they don't. They've got like, it looks like that. You know, you've got the sort of the maple with the stripe in the middle. This one has a veneer and is shiny. So what that means, I don't know. Is it? I mean, a piece. Is it like a prototype for? You know, and I think what they did in the Japan with these things is they would make a couple of them and then send them out, and then sent round Britain or America like in a reps car, and then folk would order, oh, like I'll have 2 of them and half a dozen of them, stuff like that. So I think that could be what this is. I think that kind of explains quite a lot of really odd Japanese guitars you get from this sort of era. Because you know, they're not going to make 1,000 of them and then be stuck with them, so they're going to make, I don't know, 10 or 20 or something like that, send them out and see, wait till the order books come in. So interesting. Notice actually it's got a couple of dinks in the back of the neck, but I didn't notice them when I was playing it, so that can't be bad. Rock and roll!